Hi. Well, today is Saturday, and it was my day to go out and interact with the world in the wild. Not really my favorite thing to do because, on Saturdays I don't have a filter. There's when during work or when I'm running around with my sister, I usually have somebody to act as a buffer between me and the world. But on Saturday when I go out to do my chores, it's just me. And there, I went to the bus stop that's near my house, and um, there was a couple there having a very dramatic and very public argument, and there was a lot of tears and crying, and I just didn't want to deal with that, so I went to the other bus stop, which is across the street from the Little League field. So I got to see all of the norms, taking their little podlings so they could be dropped in that big pressure cooker that's known as Little League. And it's just, there's like this thing written into my genetic code that says that, I should, why am I not breeding? Why am I not out, forming a family unit? And it's in all of our DNAs to do that. There's a, little strand of code that says breed, breed, breed. And I know, I know, it's frustrating because before I met 5'6" of pure evil, my path was just concrete. I knew it was the right thing. Considering that my personal background, considering the issues with my physiology, with the chemical depression and the anxiety and all of just I have this laundry list of reasons why I shouldn't breed. But it's funny how big doe-eyed, brown eyes and body built for sin will just throw everything all heggledy-peggledy. But, I'm back to the point now where it's like, yeah, I'm not going to breed. I'm not going to have any kids. I don't really need to. It's probably not a good idea considering statistically speaking, the vast majority of abused children grow up to abuse their children in some manner or fashion. And, when I see the norms out interacting with their kids, I just, why? Why have you even bothered to have children? You don't seem to like them. Especially when I see people, children that are doing completely harmless things that won't harm them, that won't harm the environment, that won't harm anything, and these adults are just spazzing them and publicly berating them and talking down to them in a manner. If they'd done that to an adult, they would end up losing their radio show. So I don't know. As long as a child is not doing that's inherently harmful to them, another person, or whatever, I don't get it. I don't. Why should you spaz out because a kid presses a button for the crosswalk? It's ridiculous. So I don't know. People have children and then just don't seem to like them, and I don't understand what the point of that is, and I hopefully never will. But the long and short of it is, I just really don't like people. Not out in the wild, at any rate. God, I was coming home the other day, and I had my headphones on, and I was listening to music, and this girl that I've had just a raging crush, it's just the mad trouser sweats for about a year and a half, actually spoke to me, and I didn't speak back to her. I don't know, I'm awfully gun shy. That, I don't know. But the other thing that's, possibly remotely interesting in the romantic area of life is there's this teller at the bank that I go to, and she's, seems to be overly friendly, and, I don't know, but and I'm just not wired in the fashion that I'm going to automatically assume that every woman that smiles at me and says hello is trying to pick me up. I need more to it than that. And this time she's really just asking very overtly personal questions. It's like, well, what are you doing this weekend? It's like, I don't know, I might go to the zoo. Well, who are you going to go with? My sister and her husband. And, oh, no kids? No kids. So it's like, with that little exchange, I gave away all kinds of information about myself. It's like, no, I'm not seeing anybody. No, I don't have any kids. Blah 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 blah. But I'm not confident enough to ask her out, even though I'm very attracted to her, and she really really she's practically wiggling in my lap. But I don't know. It's going on 2 years since the awful events occurred, and maybe it is time for me to get back on the horse, but I'm not ready yet. So I don't know. I don't know where any of this is going to go. This is Miha. She's taking this opportunity to hop up in the chair with me, so this will be her grand web debut. But that's it, Very little is going on in my life. I did have a crushing disappointment at work, where on Friday the 13th, I was scheduled to go on delivery to deliver, get this, job number 0666. So instead of going out of town, getting some good overtime and delivering 666 on Friday the 13th, I had to stay in town and do a BS 1-unit delivery. So that kind of soured me. It's been kind of, work has been kind of strange, and I'm okay with what's going on because I understand that there's ebb and flow in this business, and it's just kind of tiresome because none of my other coworkers seem to get that, so they're just very negative and they're just hard to be around, and it's kind of crappy. At any rate, as I said before, my plans for tomorrow were to go to the zoo, and today I'm just gonna kind of hang out with the cats and do some laundry and very mundane ho-hum things like that. So that's basically it. Can't even turn on the radio now without turn on the radio or the TV without seeing anybody talking about Don Imus. And I don't have a problem with him being fired. I really don't. Just because he's just dull. He's just dull as watching paint dry. He's basically a doddering old man and doesn't need to be on the radio. But, on the other hand, nobody can tell me that any of those women on that basketball team actually heard the things that he said firsthand. They didn't, because they weren't listening to the show. Because nobody under the age of 50 listens to that show. So, so somebody had to come tell them what was said for them to become outraged about it and have it ruin their lives. So, there's just something ridiculous going on there. And it's like, what he said as an aside, as a by the way, just running his mouth, basically. Now, Rush Limbaugh and Glenn Beck and some of these other guys say completely overtly racist things as a regular course, but these people are popular and they're rich and they have ratings and things of that nature, and it's sort of like Imus was the oldest, weakest, lamest gazelle on the field, and he got taken down because of the fact that they could catch him. He was too weak. And the thing that really got me was the coach of the basketball team talking about how we need to get back to decency. Well, it's like, well, we never had a decency. We've never had a decent society. I mean, just look at some of the old movies from the 70s. That'll tell you how little decency this society has ever had. But we had this, illusion of it. We had this veneer of it in the public discourse. And, if anything, I'm not saying that the public discourse has become, rougher or nastier. It certainly has become more real. And whether or not that's a good thing depends on, how you feel about the truth. And if you can't take the truth, then I guess you want to go back to the good old days when we all pretended that, things, bad things didn't happen. But that's about that of it. And I'm going to let it go now. And I will talk to you next time. This is my Saturday the 14th video blog. thanks for checking it out. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye bye.